It is time for another red line, and that's because this is a Nooteboom model in a red line colour scheme. The box is Nooteboom branded, and as we can see it's a version of the Manoovr semi-low loader. Turning the box around we see it's made by WSI Models, and it's a Scania R tractor with a Manoovr 5-axle trailer. Model number 023028.
Let's weigh it up.
We go on to the weighbridge and it weighs 2 pounds 8 ounces, which is 1.14 kilograms. The box cover is a sleeve so we can push out the innards, and there's also a small manual we'll look at shortly. As you can see, the packaging is high quality. There's a plastic former which covers the model, which rests in black foam. And in time-honoured fashion we carefully lift out the parts. And we have the trailer, the tractor, the brochure and a bag of small parts. This is the standard brochure for the Manoovr models, and it suggests there are going to be lots of varieties in the scale model program. After that we've got information and nice photos of the real trailer, and some instructions for the model. Assembly of this version is basically limited to joining up the tractor and trailer, so it's a case of clunk click does the trick, and once it's joined up the connection is secure. There are some minor options. A full set of marker boards is included, but there's nowhere to fit the front ones, although you can place the ones at the rear. Although this trailer has ramps, so it's of doubtful value. The same is also true of a Convoy Exceptionnel sign, which is in 2 languages. Again, you can place it on the deck, but the ramps obscure it.
Let's weigh it up again.
Driving the model onto the weighbridge we get 1 pounds 8 ounces, which is also known as 675 grams. We start underneath the Scania, which is a 6x4 arrangement. The detail level is typically high for a WSI model, including a full exhaust system, and the gearbox and transmission is fully modelled, as is the suspension components, and there are different tyres front and rear. Up on top of the cab there's a fairing and a roof light which is not see-through, and a couple of beacon lights, with special trailers on the headboard. This is a Scania with its recognisable front grille, and it's modelled really nicely, and there are small graphics including a licence plate. The lights and chevrons look the part, and this model also has colour-coded door mirrors. The red line decoration on the side is very sharp, and behind the door there's also a unique scale model fleet number. There are tread plates in the steps, and the wheel has a highlighted hub. There are nice chromed exhausts at the back, and behind the cab there are cabinets and coiled lines. There's also very nice anti-slip surfacing, and the detailing down the sides is to a high standard. Moving to the back there's a licence plate, and we see Scania printed on the rigid mud flaps. Moving to the trailer, and there's a nicely detailed turntable, and there are also wheel chocks. There are landing legs and also some modelled tanks, and the wheel sets are nicely engineered parts. At the back 2 small landing legs are modelled, but they're not functional. At the front of the gooseneck there's a spare wheel, and tiny graphics add to the detailing. The trailer also has a scale model fleet number, and there's also a yellow stripe and a storage box. Moving down there's a tiny control console, and you can see intricate detailing around the deck edge. Up on top there are a variety of surfaces, including plastic replica timbers, and there are non-functional tie-downs. This version of the trailer is different because it has a well for an excavator boom, and the general standard of detailing gives an authentic appearance. At the back there are 2 loading ramps, and this includes a ram for sideways movement of the ramps, although this is non-functional. Starting with the Scania, and the wheels spin freely, and we have a moderate range of steering. Out on the cranes etc. superhighway, the model rolls very well, and if we apply a bit of steering we can almost drive ourselves around the bend. The Scania also features a tilting cab. It stays tilted, and there's a decent engine underneath. This Manoovr trailer is a 5-axle, and there's proportional steering on all axles. The axle functionality is interesting because the front 2 can be raised up out of service, and the next 2 have sprung suspension. The rear axle can also be raised out of service. The landing legs at the front can be lowered by simply unscrewing them, and they have a decent range of movement. With both legs down they support the trailer properly so that the gooseneck doesn't hang down. When the trailer runs empty you don't need all the axles, so to save tyre wear you can raise 3 of the axles up. And that works well because they have a decent clearance. If we set the steering all the axles move, and the trailer does follow a decent curve. So this is very nice model engineering. The deck has tiny pull-out beams, so you could widen the deck if you had timbers to span between them. Another optional configuration is to use deck posts, and 2 types of metal posts are supplied, thin ones and square ones. A main feature of this particular Manoovr trailer is that it is extendable, so it can be used to carry some longer loads.
Time for a dim check.
Let's measure it up first in standard configuration, and it's 14 inches or 36 centimeters, and extended it's 17 inches or 43 centimeters. Trailers are designed to carry load, so let's look at some loading options, and we'll start by lowering the axles. And first up we have a heavy crawler track frame, and this one fits nicely between the deck posts. The trailer has ramps, so we can lower those in the same way as you can on the real trailer, with just giant hands being the difference. So now we can pose different equipment getting on board, and we'll start with a harm roller. And again there's enough space on the deck for it to get on between the deck posts. And with the deck extended a little, we can also get a second harm roller on board. Or as a different option, we can load up an excavator, and then use the well at the rear of the deck. This is another very nice version of the Nooteboom Manoovr trailer by WSI Models. This smaller size trailer gives many options for carrying regular sized plant and equipment, and as such it looks great when loaded with other models. So this is another flexible addition to the WSI model's heavy haulage lineup, and it's rated as excellent.